in the deep heart of an ancient jungle, where the green canopy was a thick, unbroken roof, two great forces moved. This was a place where sunlight struggled to reach the earth and silence often reigned, broken only by the calls of unseen life. It was a realm ruled by instinct, by power, and by the timeless, brutal laws of nature. Here, life and death were constant companions, locked in an eternal, silent dance beneath the heavy, humid air. One of these forces was a lion, not a creature of this shadowed world by birth, but a wanderer. His coat was the color of dried gold, his mane a wild, fiery halo around a face etched with scars. He was a king from the sun-drenched savannas, a ruler of open plains and vast horizons. But something had drawn him into this dense, unfamiliar territory. A drive deeper than hunger, a primal need for ultimate dominance. The other force was the jungle's own, a silverback gorilla, immense and powerful, his fur the color of twilight shadows. He was the undisputed guardian of this green labyrinth, his intelligence sharp, his territory fiercely protected. He knew every vine, every shadow, every sound. This was his kingdom, built on strength and an ancient lineage that stretched back through the tangled roots of time itself. Nature, in its mysterious way, had called these two titans together, not for food, not for territory in the usual sense, but for a clash of pure, unadulterated power, a test of wills, a battle for the very air they breathed. There was no spoken word, no clear reason understood by man, only the deep, resonant pull of instinct, drawing them closer, setting the stage for a conflict that the jungle itself seemed to anticipate. It began not with a roar, but a low guttural rumble, a sound that vibrated through the damp earth, a challenge thrown into the heavy air. The lion responded first, dropping low, his golden eyes fixed, burning like embers in the gloom. The gorilla answered with a thunderous display. Rising to his full, imposing height, he pounded his massive chest with rhythmic, powerful strikes. The sound echoed through the trees like the drums of war, a primal declaration. Then they charged, not a hesitant approach, but a full, explosive release of pent-up power. The ground trembled beneath their sudden, violent movement, the air thick with anticipation and raw energy. They met in a blur of fur and muscle, a collision of two worlds, the open savanna meeting the dense jungle, embodied in these two magnificent, furious creatures. The lion's razor claws raked against the gorilla's tough hide, the gorilla's massive fists hammered down with bone-crushing force. Teeth snapped, seeking purchase, seeking the vital points. Flesh tore, blood began to stain the dark earth. They tumbled together, a whirlwind of fury, neither giving ground, neither showing weakness. The struggle was absolute, a total commitment to victory. Blow for blow, they mirrored each other's power. Every raking claw was met with a crushing strike. Every snap of teeth was answered with a powerful shove or a defensive block. It was a brutal, relentless exchange. The jungle held its breath. The chattering monkeys fell silent in the high branches. Birds froze mid-song, their bright eyes wide, sensing the immense, dangerous energy radiating from the conflict below. Blood mixed with the dark, rich mud of the jungle floor. Growls of pain and rage met the deep, resonant roars of challenge. The air was thick with the scent of exertion, of fear, and of primal fury. Minutes stretched into an eternity, yet still there was no clear victor. Two forces of nature, perfectly matched in their power and their refusal to yield, locked in a deadly, beautiful dance. Finally, they broke apart, staggering back. Panting heavily, their massive chests heaving, they spitted facing each other. Both were bloodied, scarred, and utterly exhausted, yet their eyes still burned with defiance. They stood there, a tableau of raw power and ancient rivalry, face to face, eye to eye. The jungle waited, silent once more, for the final act of this epic, wordless drama. Each beast gathered its remaining strength, preparing for one last decisive move. The lion crouched low, muscles coiling like springs, ready to unleash his final explosive leap. The gorilla tensed, his massive form poised, ready to meet the charge with overwhelming force. Time seemed to slow, stretching out the moment before the inevitable final collision. Then a sound ripped through the heavy air, not the roar of a beast, but a sharp, metallic crack, a sound utterly alien to the ancient jungle, splitting the tension like lightning. A jungle screamed, not with the voice of an animal, but with the sudden, violent intrusion of man-made thunder. Bullets tore through the air, finding their mark with brutal efficiency. Mid-leap, mid-tensing, both titans fell, the thunder of their power silenced by a different kind of thunder. Their glory extinguished before the final test could be completed. They dropped to the earth, lifeless before their bodies even hit the ground. Two kings, two forces of nature, brought low not by each other, but by an unseen, external power. From the dense brush, a group emerged. Men in camouflage, their rifles still warm in their hands. They approached the fallen giants, their faces a mixture of awe and satisfaction at the magnitude of their kill. The king of the savannah, the guardian of the jungle, silenced in an instant. Their epic battle ended not by strength or skill, but by cold, impersonal steel and gunpowder. One of the men spoke, with a bit of dismay. "Too bad we didn't get a chance to see who was going to win that battle. I was going to bet some money." The others chuckled, slapping him on the back, the sound jarring in the sudden quiet. "There'll be other hunts, buddy. Always are," the leader said, lighting a cigar, the smoke a thin, unnatural plume in the humid air. "Well then, I'll drink to that," said the first man, as he took a swig of whiskey from the flask he had in his pocket. They began the difficult, arduous task, hoisting the two magnificent beasts onto the back of a waiting truck, their lifeless forms still exuding a strange, silent majesty even in death. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, mournful shadows over the bloodied leaves and broken branches. The jungle fell quiet once more, but it was not the peace of nature's balance. It was the silence of loss, a gain for some, but an immeasurable void left behind. Until the next battle. Like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel for more battles between titans.